All right, everybody. Pretty good, pretty neat. Welcome back to the channel. Let's get straight into this. This all started last Friday when the Uniparty did what the Uniparty does. And if there's any misconception that they are all in on this and these are all charades and shenanigans, that's my opinion, because that is what I observe. This is what I see happen. I'm going to share my opinion with you, and you tell me what you think. So here we go. From the Gateway Pundit here. House votes at 6:30 p.m. Monday night, so this occurred on Monday night, to kill FISA spying on Americans without warrant. Call your representative today. The number's below. So here we go. On Friday, the House voted 273 to 147 in favor of extending Section 702 of FISA, a provision originally enacted in the aftermath of September 11th, 2001. This legislation permits U.S. agencies to monitor foreign targets abroad, but has come under scrutiny for its implications and past misuse in surveilling American citizens. The vote displayed a uniparty alliance with 147 Democrats and 126 Republicans supporting the bill, while 88 Republicans and 59 Democrats opposed it. These are the games they play. WWE in effect. The approved legislation proposes a 2-year extension for the surveillance program. So mind you, this is an extension of something that already exists that they are using against the American people that violates the Constitution, particularly the Fourth Amendment. But they violate all of them. The First Amendment with their hate laws that they want to pass, with these hate speech bills that they want to pass. This is insane. The violation of the Second Amendment as they infringe on our rights to bear arms, and now the Fourth Amendment. 3 of the top 5, okay? There's a reason. Anyway, so here we go. I'm sorry. Representative Mary Miller, Republican of Illinois, stated her opposition referencing past abuses. Quote, "I voted no on reauthorizing FISA without a warrant requirement and serious reforms. FISA was misused by Obama to spy on the Trump campaign and under Biden to monitor his critics, including Tucker Carlson." So there you go, right? An amendment was proposed by Representative Andy Biggs, Republican, Arizona, which would have required a warrant for the FBI to conduct surveillance on Americans under FISA. The floor vote resulted in a tie vote of 212 to 212. Speaker and Trader Mike Johnson, Republican from LA, of course he would have to be, right? Maybe he's, anyway. Then broke the deadlock by casting the tie-breaking vote against the amendment. Okay? A move criticized by grassroots supporters. Johnson betrayed Americans and defied the U.S. Constitution. As the Gateway Pundit readers are well aware, the Biden regime and deep state players have been targeting and spying on Trump and his supporters for several years now. This has to stop in order to preserve a free society. Representative Anna Paulino Luna, Republican from Florida, has not given up following Friday's disappointing vote by Rhinos, Democrats, and Trader Speaker Johnson. Representative Luna sent a letter to all 435 members of Congress on Monday, urging them to protect civil liberties, follow the U.S. Constitution, and fix the current legislation to make it constitutional. Here's a tweet from Representative Paulino right here. "I sent a letter to all 435 of my colleagues asking for them to hashtag kill FISA today. We can amend the current form so that it is constitutional. We will be voting at 6:30 p.m. So this was a vote that was taking place Monday at 6:30 p.m. Okay? To my colleagues, please join me in protecting our civil liberties. We can fix this. Did her colleagues fix it? Boom. Breaking. Rhinos win, Americans lose. FISA 702 again passes House by vote of 259 to 128. Here are the 117 rhinos who voted for warrantless spying on Americans. And here you have the details. There are the numbers. Let's get into the article. The House of Representatives on Monday passed a motion to table the motion to reconsider HB 7888, which passed on Friday to renew FISA 702 and allow warrantless surveillance of innocent Americans. This was a betrayal of Americans. Shortly before the final passage of HB 7888 on Friday, the House rejected a common sense amendment from Representative Andy Biggs, which would have required a warrant to spy on Americans. However, 86 Republicans voted for authoritarianism, with Speaker Mike Johnson casting the decisive vote. Senator Rand Paul, Republican of Kentucky, in an interview with Maria Bartiromo this weekend, slammed Mike Johnson for voting with Democrats again to break the tie and abdicating the power of the purse to the Democrats in the latest spending package. As I see it now, I am not sure there's a difference between Mike Johnson being in charge and the Democrats being in charge, Senator Paul remarked. That's because Michael Johnson has done nothing but betray the American people. He's done nothing but finance foreign interests, granting and passing bills that are surely going to get signed into law, granting more taxpayer dollars to go to Ukraine, funding a proxy war that we have no business being in, funding a potential genocide, another conflict over there, Israel-Palestine, something else that Americans should not be involved in, should not be funding, but yet we are. Paying for the invasion of our country, in particularly the ones that are getting hit the hardest, the liberal blue-run cities, the Democrat-run cities, Los Angeles, the states run by Democrats, California, New York, Illinois. It's ridiculous. Michigan. But they're not betraying us? Are we really supposed to sit here and believe that these are the individuals that have our best interest in mind? They absolutely do not. They prove it to us all the time. Time and time again. This is what they do. Here's Rand Paul. Let's see what he got to say.
I want to also ask you about what you heard from the speaker regarding FISA. Can we trust government? Can we trust government to use FISA appropriately and legally?
Absolutely not. Americans shouldn't be spied on by their own government. The Fourth Amendment was put in by our founding fathers to protect us. FISA doesn't obey the Fourth Amendment. And so Speaker Johnson was incredibly wrong. He broke the tie. He voted with the Democrats. Here we have the leader of the Republicans in the House votes with the Democrats against a warrant requirement. We also have Speaker Johnson voting for the spending package, once again, with the majority of the Democrats. As I see it now, I'm not sure there's a difference between Mike Johnson being in charge and the Democrats being in charge. The deficit this year will be $1.5 to $2 trillion, and that's Mike Johnson's bill. He put it forward. He supported it with a minority of Republicans, with a majority of Democrats. This is not using the power of the purse. This is abdicating the power of the purse.
Right? So you heard that, right? Let's continue. Recall that official intelligence documents show that the FBI illegally used FISA 278,000 times to spy on Americans, including their political enemies like President Trump, Trump donors, and January 6 families. Republicans in Congress choose to screw the American people and allow unwarranted searches and seizures of our private communications, giving the Biden regime and FBI renewed authority to spy on Trump and innocent Americans as they previously did leading up to the 2024 election. But my concern is when you allow this to happen to the regular people, to us, Because you can label. If I recall, some time ago last year, did they not label a father who was concerned about what transpired in a school because he was concerned about the abuse that his daughter was suffering at the hands of these nonsensical, radical programs that they want to implement into the schools with this, unigender bathrooms and nonsense like that? They labeled this man a domestic terrorist. So now what? They get to just disregard all of his constitutional rights just because they put this label on him? No, this can't be allowed. They can just surveil you now. They can read your texts, monitor your phone calls, and I mean everything too. They can dig into everything. No warrant needed. You won't even know you're being spied on until they kick your door down. On top of what's happening here in New York, when you've got authoritarian governor here, Kathy the Crook Hochul, fighting diligently to take more of our rights away with her quarantine and isolation registration or regulation. They should call it registration, regulation. It doesn't matter. Same thing. They'll have us signing up for papers in no time. They tried it during COVID. You got your papers? Who's telling you they won't do this again? Look at their actions. This is exactly what they want. This is why I'm in favor of term limits for Congress members and senators. We can't, these people, they can't just, unfortunately, too much of the American people forgo their right to vote, or they don't look into it deeply enough. Okay, they look at like policies on the surface, just nonsense like, well, who's giving me some money? Who's funding my Medicaid? That's who got my vote. I understand why when these people live in meager means and they need this, of course that's who they're going to vote for. That's their plan too. That's all part of their process. That's exactly what they want. But because, unfortunately, the people aren't responsible enough, we need limits. We need term limits. These people should just not be forever politicians, okay? And we may even have to examine donors. Corporations should not be able to donate to politicians running for office, running for president. They should not be able to lobby, or at least restrict how much can be donated. I don't know what we can do, but we absolutely have to do something. There are other avenues that we have to try and pursue to try to rectify these situations, because if we continue going down this slope of these uniparty globalists, because that's who these people are. These are the globalists, and not globalists in a good way, right? When you hear globalists, you kind of immediately want to relate it to potentially, everyone in the world getting together, one world government, all unified. But it won't work out that way. These are globalists that want a socialist agenda where they will own everything, you will own nothing. You're told you're gonna love it. I know they're gonna love it. They get to eat real cow, we get to eat Beyond Meat. Or crickets. They get to own houses, have land, have property. We get to live in 15-minute cities. It's like Final Fantasy 17. We get to live in Midgard. Everything real close by. Right? It's even shaped that with a nice little round. They got it cut out. They got it all pied off, all sectioned off. They got it real great. You'll get to and from home in 15 minutes or less. This is the plan they got for us. Stack them and pack them. What do you guys say in the lower income neighborhoods? Notice they've been building a lot of buildings. Notice they've been erecting a lot of new tenements. Very, very high ones too. They're very tall. 25, 30 floors. Pack them and stack them. That's their plan. Well, I hope I didn't take up too much of your time. You guys tell me what you think. Thank you again for joining me. I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. You already know what to do, guys. Thank you so much. Pretty good, pretty neat, everybody. You already know what to do. You can follow me on X. You can follow me on TikTok. You can follow me on Instagram, right here on YouTube and on Rumble. Thank you so much. God bless. Pretty good, pretty neat. Peace.